File new, save the document. Not the save the document. Wait a minute. File open. What's your batch code, guys? Spring FS63 Spring Core, right? Tell me, in Spring 5.x, how many scopes are there? How many scopes are there for Spring Bean? 6 scopes are there for Spring Beans, right? Right. What are those? Singleton, prototype, request, session, application, and Websocket. If no scope is given, what's the default scope? Singleton. So far, knowingly, unknowingly, which scope we are working with? If no scope is given, what is the default scope? Naushad Ali, only one scope is default, that is singleton. Singleton, right? When should I take scope as singleton scope? If Spring Bean is not having state, if Spring Bean is having read-only state, if Spring Bean is having shareable state, right? Shareable state. Singleton scope makes singleton scope. Okay. Singleton scope makes Spring Bean as singleton class or not? Does singleton scope make Spring Bean as singleton class or not? No, it does not make class as singleton class. But it makes IOC container to create. But it makes IOC container to create only one object for Spring Bean class, right? Does it make Spring Bean class as singleton Java class? No. But it makes IOC container to create only one object, right, boss? What is prototype scope? What is prototype scope? For every ctx.getBean method call, the IOC container creates separate Spring Bean class object or not? The IOC container creates separate Spring Bean class object or not? Say something, my dear. When should I go for Spring Bean scope as prototype? If the state is changing time to time. Suppose your Spring Bean is going to hold states information based on the country we select. That time better to go for what? Prototype scope, right? Okay. How IOC container able to create one object for Spring Bean and multiple objects for prototype scope Spring Bean? Multiple objects for prototype scope Spring Bean. Very simple. Singleton scope Spring Bean objects will be kept in internal cache of the IOC container, so that same object will be used again and again by collecting from internal cache. Yes, na boss? Whereas the prototype scope Spring Bean will not be preserved in internal cache of the IOC container. In the internal cache of the IOC container. What do you say, guys? So that for every ctx.getBean method call, same object will be used or not? Super, guys. Now tell me, file, save as PNG picture. Okay, what is that? Spring Bean scopes. Spring Bean scope, October 1st, 2022. October 1st, 2022. Scope is equal to request or at the rate scope request. At the rate scope request. What does it mean, guys? At the rate scope request. Okay. Makes the IOC container. Yeah. These scopes you'll understand if you have web application knowledge. Otherwise, ignore. Otherwise, ignore. You will get to know once you got Servlet JSP knowledge. Makes the IOC container to keep Spring Bean class object. Okay. In request to scope. In request object as the request attribute value. As the request attribute value. That means this object is specific to each request. This object is, that means this Spring Bean class object is specific to each request. This scope can be used only in web applications. Can be used in web applications. Tell me. Okay. In Spring MVC applications, we store form data into one special Java Bean class object called model class object. We store form data into one special Java Bean class object called model class object. Understanding my statement, guys? So, model class object. But the form data will change. Form data will change. What, guys? Request to request. So better to take model class Spring Bean scope as request scope. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Better to take model class Spring Bean scope as request scope, guys. Right. Okay, but right now we don't have web application, Ra Babu. We are still using Spring for standalone application, but still I will try to show. Still I will try to use request scope in standalone application. You will get exception. You will definitely get exception by NTSP. This one. Yeah, I launched Eclipse IDE, boss. Close all editors, guys. Close all editors, guys. Right click, guys. Strategy DP test. Right click, run on Java application. Right click, run on Java application. First flight card, Flipkart. Okay, go to Spring Bean, guys. SBeans. Here is my Flipkart, right? Here I will try to put scope as what? Request. Control C, Control V to copy anything, including project. Use your common sense, Rava. See, guys, no scope resisted. No scope resisted for scope name request. Why? Can we use this scope in normal applications? In standalone applications? No. We can use only in web application. We can use only in web application. Understanding my statement? Super, guys. Now tell me next one. Scope is equal to session or at the rate scope session. At the rate scope session. Yeah, as on today, only I can do theoretical statement about these these scopes bias. Why? Because these scopes are given to assign for Spring Bean only in web application environment. In Spring, using which module we develop web applications, guys? Spring MVC. Till that time, can we use these scopes? Can be used only in Spring MVC applications. Right. Makes the IOC container to keep the Spring Bean class object in session scope as the session attribute value. In session scope as a session attribute value. In session scope as a session attribute value. Okay. That means this is Spring Bean class object. Spring Bean class object is specific to browser software. Is specific to browser software. Specific to browser software. Same Spring Bean class object will be used across the multiple requests. Yeah, if you don't know Servlet JSP, don't break your head that much. After learning Servlet JSP, you'll understand these web specific scopes. Across the multiple requests given by a browser software. Given by a browser software. Tell me, this scope is specific to this scope is specific to web applications. That means can be used in Spring MVC applications. Can be used in Spring MVC applications. Understanding my statement, guys? Okay. If Spring Bean wants to store, if the Spring Bean wants to store login details like username, password. Array, Facebook login details are specific to each browser software. Gmail login details specific to each browser software. Can you respond in the chat box? Come on, guys. Can you respond in the chat box? If Spring Bean wants to store login details like username, password, then we take that spring bean scope as what is that? Session scope. Right. Now listen. Okay. The username password what we have given while logging to Facebook are specific to Internet Explorer browser, are specific to Google Chrome browser, are specific to XYZ, a certain browser or not. Logging details are not specific to each request. Logging details are specific to each browser software. 1 minute, I'll show that. Okay. Let us take facebook.com, fb.com, facebook.com. What happened to net connection? Yeah, it is getting into my Facebook account. It's getting into Facebook account. I'm opening another tab and saying facebook.com. Is it going to ask username password again? No. I close. Is it going to ask username password again? So you open any tabs, any windows of same browser software, it will remember already logged in username passwords. It will remember the already logged in username passwords. Now I open Internet Explorer. Here I am saying fb.com. Yeah. Here I am saying fb.com. It will ask me to enter. Acha, here also already logged in. Fine. Here let me log out. Here let me log out. Here let me log out. Now listen. Here is my Internet Explorer. Or Microsoft Edge. fb.com. See, again, it will asking me to log in now. But in Chrome, is it asking me to log in? Understanding my statement? Moreover, after logging into Facebook, I give 1,000 requests every day. Seeing that post, that comment, that request, this request, that approval, this approval. Is it asking username, password every time? No, na. So it is asking only during sign in. Until I say sign out, it is remembering my username, password, specific to that browser software or not. So that means session means specific to browser software or not. Yeah, if you want to store form data into model class object, take model class object as what? Request scope spring bean, right? If you want to store login username password in spring bean, try to take that spring bean scope as what? That spring bean scope as what? Session scope. Because login details are specific to each browser software and form data is changes request to request, right, boss? Login username password will change for every requester. No, it will be given at the time of login until we log out. They will be continued. Same username password will be used internally or not. Okay, guys. Now tell me. Scope is equal to application. Scope is equal to application. Or at the rate to scope application. Yes, boss. Array at the rate misda. Let me put the at. Tell me, guys. Keeps the spring bean class object. Keeps the spring bean class object in servlet context object as servlet context attribute value. Okay. Since servlet context object is one per web application, so this scope is also called as application scope. This scope is also called as application scope, guys. Got it? Okay. Here, Spring Bean class object is one per entire web application. Is one per entire web application. Understanding my statement? One per entire web application. For entire web application, it is only one object. The scope is web application specific scope. That means can be used only in Spring MVC applications. Can be used only in Spring MVC applications. If Spring Bean wants to store, right, boss? If Spring Bean wants to store only, are you with me, guys? If you want to store the global data of the web application, like request counts, right, boss? A number of requests coming to request count. If Spring Bean wants to store the global data of the application, like request count, admin email ID, and etc. Then place that Spring Bean in what scope, guys? Applications. Place that Spring Bean in what scope? Applications. Are you with me, guys? Global data was. Sir, I have a small confusion. Singleton, one object. Application, one object. Then what is the difference between singleton scope and application scope, right? Because both giving same object, one object now, boss. Both giving one object only, right? What is the difference between singleton scope and applications? Singleton scope and application scope. Super, guys. This is singleton scope, guys. Here singleton scope. Here application scope. Here singleton scope. Here application scope. Tell me. This scope can be used. Only in web applications. Only in what, guys? Only in can be used in standalone applications and web applications. Standalone applications and web applications. Got it, guys? Yes. Tell me, this scope can be used only in web applications. Web application. Nothing but Spring MVC applications. Got it, guys? Super. B. Alexa, activate balcony center lights.
Okay.
Okay, boss. In this scope, okay, one Spring Bean class object will be created for each IOC container. For IOC container, right, boss? For every IOC container, one object. Suppose if we try to ask same bean object in two IOC container, one objects will be created now, boss. For first IOC container, one object. For second IOC container, another object. If at all, if we take 2-3 IOC container in one application, tell me what happens then. For first IOC container, one object. For second IOC container, another object. This in this scope, one Spring Bean class object will be created on one per IOC container. One per IOC container. B. In this scope, the Spring Bean class object will be created on one per web application basis. What is, guys? One per web application basis. Superna boss, come on. One per web application basis. It's purely one per web application. Entirely for one per web application. Got it, guys? Super. This is specific to each container. If one application is having 10 IOC containers, then it creates 10 Spring Bean, 10 10 objects for singleton scope Spring Bean. Convinced, guys? If one application is having 10 IOC containers, then it creates 10 objects for one singleton scope Spring Bean. Super, guys. Tell me next one. If one application is having 10 IOC containers, then it creates single object for application scope Spring Bean. I think you understood, guys. Whether we take multiple containers or not, secondary. But if we take also the same thing, if one web application is having 10 IOC containers, then it creates single object for application scope Spring Bean. It is specific to web application. It is specific to IOC container. It is specific to IOC container. I think you got the clarity between singleton scope and application scope, guys. Any confusion? Lastly, guys, scope is equal to WebSocket or scope is equal to WebSocket or @ scope is equal to WebSocket. Yeah. All these are related to web application. That's why I'm giving only theoretical knowledge. Okay. Now listen, guys. Yeah, first of all, we should know something about WebSocket protocol, Rabba. Like HTTP, WebSocket is a protocol. Is a web-related or internet-related protocol. Web-related or internet-related protocol. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Like HTTP, WebSocket is a web-related or internet-related protocol. Convinced or not? Okay. HTTP is a half-duplex protocol. Half-duplex protocol. That means, listen, the web application gives response to browser only when request is arrived. It's a two-way communication, browser to web server to browser. That is duplex communication, but it is off duplex. What do you mean by off duplex? I will tell. When request is given, or if until client task, server does not give anything. Until client task, server does not give anything. This is browser, this is web application. This is web application. First, listen carefully. This is client, guys. Here is server. Right, boss. Tell me, request to one. Request to one. Response. Request to one, response. This is my request to one, guys. This is my response. Super. Now tell me, guys, does web application can give to browser without getting request? Does web application can pass something to browser without getting request, guys? Is it possible? Request to and response to. Request to and response. Tell me, guys. Here is my request to. Here is my response. Tell me why it is called off duplex communication. This communication is off duplex communication because web application, nothing but server, cannot give anything to browser without requesting for it, without getting a request from browser. Convinced, my dear? Got the clarity, my dear? I want reply. This communication is off duplex, Babu. You have to ask for everything. You don't ask, you won't get anything. If you don't ask, you won't get anything, right? If you don't ask, you won't get anything. Understanding my statement, boss? You need to ask for. Noor Muhammad, I already said many times. When I have explained half duplex, if we wait another 2-3 minutes, if you wait 2-3 minutes, I'll also explain full duplex. What is need of showing your talent in the chat box without waiting for 1-2 minutes? Okay. This communication is off because the web application cannot give anything to browser without getting request from browser. Right, guys? Someone excited, sir. What is full duplex? Wait, Babu, wait. This is what HTTP protocol based of duplex communication. Of duplex communication. Super boss. Super means super. Now listen, next one, full duplex, guys. Browser server. Browser server. Browser here, client. Okay, here is my what? Okay, web application. This is server. Web application, this is server. Cool, guys. Now listen. Request to response. Request to response. Request to one response. Interesting, you know. Response. This is my response to our. Yeah. Concentrate, boss. You ask for something, it will give continuously, though it won't ask. That means without getting request from server also, browser, without getting request from browser also, server can deliver data to browser or not. Server can deliver data to browser or not. Come on. Okay. Result 1, result 2. Result 1. Once basic connection is established, Babu, server can deliver multiple results to browser, though it has not asked for it. Whatever came for browser, it will deliver to browser. But here, every time you should ask, then only it will give. Then only it will give. Come on. Every time you should ask, then only it will give. But once communication is established, server is able to deliver to client whatever that belongs to client. Whatever that belongs to client. What is this? WebSocket protocol based. WebSocket protocol based. What is this? Full duplex communication. Full duplex communication. You guys, yeah. Here, full duplex communication. Communication is enabled. Is enabled. That means server or web application. Okay. Can pass client specific information to client or browser continuously though client is not sending request. It's full duplex na boss. It's a full duplex. Once connection is established between browser and server, whatever data belongs to browser, whatever data belongs to what? whatever data belongs to what? Browser will be thrown to browser by server. Will be thrown to browser by server. Got it, guys? Convinced or not? This is full duplex communication. This is to full duplex communication. Got it? Duplex communication. I hope you convinced at this point. Example for full duplex chatting applications. Chatting applications. No, not WhatsApp. Not WhatsApp. Web level chatting applications. Web level chatting applications. Facebook Messenger application. Think about web level chatting applications. Tell me, basic connection is established. Then, though receiver is not ready, all the messages related to sender will be thrown to sender or not by receiver, right? Web level chatting applications, like Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger. Got it, guys? So their WebSocket protocol will be used. So we are using HTTP colon na. We can Telegram, WhatsApp, all these are mobile application. Mobile means again Android comes into picture. iOS comes into picture. Come on. So that's a different ball game. Web level chatting application. Gmail chat, you know? Gmail chat. Facebook Messenger chats. Those things I am talking about. Those things I am talking about, right? Duplex communication, full duplex. Server is free to talk, to send the data. Client is free to ask the data. Half duplex, server will send only when client will ask. Same data required, same client should ask again, same multiple time for same data. Different data is required, every time client should ask. Got it, guys? Got the clarity, boss? Convinced, boss? Understanding my statement, guys? YouTube is off duplex only, na? You ask for video, video will come. You ask for another video will come. It never says, okay, these are related videos for you, take it, right? No, na? Every video will come. Every video will be played only when you ask for it. Super, guys. Tell me, guys. WebSocket scope is WebSocket scope is specific to WebSocket scope is specific to what, guys? Web applications. That means it can be used in Spring MVC applications. Okay. By enabling WebSocket protocol. What, guys? WebSocket protocol. Yeah. Next one. If the spring bean scope is Websocket. Okay. So data can be used across the multiple requests given by client as part of full duplex communication. Full duplex communication. As part of full duplex communication. Got it, guys? But we have seen only how many scopes practically, guys? We have seen how many scopes practically? 2 scopes. Why? Because right now we are learning standalone application. That's why we have seen 2 scopes parallel, practically. In when we launch Spring MVC module, we'll try to cover remaining scopes practically. As of now, only theoretical statements I have given. Bit heavier, don't worry. Once you got Servlet JSP knowledge, Spring MVC knowledge, they become easy like singleton and prototypes. Super, guys. Question related to scopes only. How to make prototype scope bean participating in application context. Okay. Participating in pre-instantiation in application context container based application. Okay. Prototype scope bean. Prototype. In application context container based Spring application. Okay. No, I don't want to change the scope. But still I want to see. Still I would like to see. Come on. Okay, using @ early annotation. Rajesh Bisha, did you create that annotation? Rajesh Bisha, did you create that annotation freshly, boss? Tell me. Did you create that annotation freshly? I want reply. Okay. There is no @ early annotation, Raghav. There is no @ early annotation. Understanding my statement? Okay. Now listen. You are not rich and you don't want to become rich by earning money, but still you want to behave rich. What we should do? There's a shortcut in life, boss, to become rich. And legal also. Legal also. Array @ singleton annotations are not there, Babu. Legal also. It's legal. Though you are not rich, you will become rich after that process. Tell me, my dear. You will enjoy if I give the answer. Buy iPhone. If you buy iPhone, you will become richer. Who said, Babu? To buy iPhone, you need to be rich first. To buy iPhone, you need to be rich first. Don't forget that. By selling kidney. Marry a rich girl, Babu. If you are a poor girl, marry a rich boy. If you are a, it's the legal process, right? Yes, na? Your dependent need to be rich, or your target need to be rich. After giving answer also, some people says, show off, show off, show off. Arey, forget about show off other things, ra babu. Forget about show off and other things. Now listen, guys. Your target bean scope is singleton. Its dependent spring bean scope is prototype. Singleton scope bean will be pre-instantiated. At that time, injection also will be completed. If dependent spring bean scope is prototype, but since injection should be done along with the pre-instantiation, so indirectly what happens, guys? Indirectly what happened? Prototype scope bean, spring bean, prototype scope spring bean also will be participating in pre-instantiation or not? Prototype scope spring bean also participate in pre-instantiation or not? Target is singleton. Its dependent spring bean scope is prototype. Are you understanding my statement? Okay. Singleton scope target bean participate in pre-instantiation. When target class object is created, that time only it will try to complete injection. But to complete injection, dependent object is required. Dependent object scope is what? Prototype. Though its scope is prototype, to support injection on what? Target spring singleton scope spring bean. Even prototype scope object will be participating in what? Pre-instantiation indirectly or not. It does not mean scope is changed. It does not mean scope is changed. Scope is still prototype. Only to support injections on target singleton scope beans. It will do that work. It will do that work. See one example, then you will get idea. Target spring bean is singleton. Who is my interested one? First flight. First flight. Go to first flight. I will take scope as what? Scope as prototype. Prototype. Go to client application. Stop doing all this hangama. Simply create IOC container. Pre-instantiation should reflect the moment IOC container is created. Pre-instantiation will reflect the moment IOC container is created. Come on. So tell me, guys. Click on. See, first flight scope is what, guys? First flight scope is what? Prototype, but still it is participating in pre-instantiation. Okay. Now you take other dependent blue dot. Okay. Forget about lazy. Scope is equal to prototype. Scope is equal to prototype. Run strategy design pattern test. Is it really participating in pre-instantiation? Is it really participating in pre-instantiation, guys? Blue dot is participating? No, because prototype scope. But first flight prototype scope, but still it is participating in pre-instantiation because it is dependent to singleton scope target bean. It is taken as dependent to singleton scope target bean. Very, very interesting analyzation or not? Very, very interesting analyzation or not? Come on, my dear. Oh, what happened? My meeting. Come on. Wait. Okay, I think you Everyone enjoyed the analyzation, guys? Why auto void is not allowed on main method? Okay, main method is static method, na? What is the use of doing auto wiring on static method? What is need of doing auto wiring on static methods? First of all, tell me. Okay. Saurav Kumar, auto wide is for injection. In main method, what you want to inject? Setter method carries something to inject. Constructor carries something to inject. Arbitrary method carries something to inject, right? Fields carry something to inject. What main method will carry to something to inject? Nothing. First of all, you try to know the purpose of @auto wide, dirty fellow. Main method injects Flipkart. Main method injects Flipkart. Okay. Saurav Kumar. Yeah. Daksha, dynamic injection means changing dependent dynamically. Yeah? We will study after introducing properties file. Right, guys. I think everyone convinced this answer, guys. Okay. If we take the prototype scope spring bean as the dependent to target singleton scope spring bean. Target singleton scope spring bean. Okay. To support dependency injection that takes place during pre-instantiation of target singleton scope spring bean. The dependent spring bean will also be instantiated. The dependent prototype spring bean will also be instantiated. Convinced, guys? Okay. This is very crucial point. Very crucial point. I hope you thoroughly understood this point. It does not mean prototype scope is changed to singleton scope. That's your psychological feeling, not change. Right, guys. Then what next? First flight. First flight. Okay. @DH. Saurav Kumar, can you apply @auto wide on the local variables? Do you do auto wiring on local variables or do you do auto wiring on instance variables? First of all, you see the annotation limitation, Babu. If you take DHL as a local variable inside the main method, how does it allows, my dear? See, when you say @auto wide, it is applicable on constructor, method, parameter, field, annotation. Okay, is there any local variable, boss? My dear dirty fellow, are you responding or not? Where did you take DHL variable? Inside the main method. Main method variable means what? Local variable. Is this annotation allowed on local variables? No. That's why not allowed. That's why it is allowed. And moreover, you want to do injection on as a property means class level properties or method level properties. As a properties or class level properties or method level properties. Doing mistake and questioning by annotation. Okay. Now listen. How to stop pre-instantiation on singleton scope spring beans. On singleton scope spring beans. This is one assignment. I have. Okay. Next class is on Monday. Monday I will declare holidays of Dasara. Monday we have a class. I have 10 spring beans. In that, I want to see 5 spring beans participating in pre-instantiation. And another 5 beans. Another 5 spring beans. Not participating in pre-instantiation. Can you tell me what should we do? These are the 2 assignments I am giving to you people. I hope you understood my both questions, guys. Question number 1. Here is question number 2. How to stop pre-instantiation on singleton scope spring beans? I have 10 spring beans. In that, I want to see 5 spring beans participating in pre-instantiation. And other 5 spring beans not participating in pre-instantiation. Can you tell me what should we do? Can you think about these 2 answers? And can you come for Monday's class with fresh mind? Okay. Syed Fatima, I need detailed answer. You can tell in Monday's class. Lot of permutations and combinations are there. Thank you. Have a nice time. All the best.